Porcelain 150 paints were developed to mimic the look of true glazed ceramics without the expense and difficulty of working with a kiln and kiln-fired ceramic paints. Instead, Porcelain 150 offers the ability to bake your piece in a standard kitchen oven at 300 degrees for a half an hour. Then the piece is permanent, microwave safe, dishwasher safe, and solvent resistant. Let's take a look at the colors available in the range of Porcelain 150 paints. Here you will see that we have 45 brilliant and intense colors. Of these 45 colors, 25 are transparent, 7 are semi-transparent, and 13 are opaque, including 4 metallics. There's a gold, vermeil, copper, and pewter color. In addition, there are 10 outliner colors. The outliner is actually the same paint, simply in a thicker viscosity. The paint is applied through the point of the outliner tube, and we will see that later. There are also 4 mediums offered in the line of Porcelain 150 paints. The mediums include a gloss and a matte medium, both which allow for a longer open time if that's necessary. The gloss medium adding gloss to the paints, which are already quite glossy on their own, and the matte medium giving a slightly matte finish. Also, the filler undercoat may act as a primer on surfaces which may be porous, such as terracotta. And finally, the thinner. If you find that your paints have tacked up on you, add a little thinner and you will do fine. We also recommend that you may use a bit of water, no more than 10% added to the color if you would like to thin out the paint. If you add more than 10% water to your paint, you can lessen the durability of the color over time on your piece. First thing I'd like to do is go ahead and give you a step-by-step example of how we paint Porcelain 150 on a surface. What surfaces can we paint on? We can paint on porcelain, china, tile, terracotta, metal, and even glass. Any surface that can withstand the heat of 300 degrees Fahrenheit in your oven. I'm going to begin with a tile here, and the first thing you always want to do is clean your piece with a little bit of rubbing alcohol or glass cleaner to get the fingerprints off. Any fingerprints that would remain on the piece could in fact lessen the durability over time of the paint. I'm going to begin with the paint that I've already poured out on my tile. I often use a tile or a small plate as my palette. I'm going to use a brush. Not only can you brush with Porcelain 150, but you can also sponge. You can stencil. I have an example of a stencil tile right in front of me. You can also use a stamp. I will show you a stamp. You can use both a home dec soft stamp or you can use a traditional hard stamp. All of them are going to work perfectly well with the Porcelain 150 paints. I'm continuing here, painting my petals with the Porcelain 150 paint in a simple brush. This brush happens to be a blend of synthetic and natural hairs. It works very well with the paints. If I were to complete my flower, I would come up with something like this. And then I'd like to show you the use of the outliner tube. I'm simply going to squeeze very gently with the outliner tube to allow the paint to drop onto the surface that I am painting. I'm going to squeeze very gently, and I'm simply going to outline several of these petals that you see here. I'm going to go through rather loosely to give it a nice little addition. This simply adds a little bit of metallic color as well as some dimensionality. Once this piece is baked, this dimensionality will remain as you see it here. I'm going to add a few more dabs and quickly add one more color. Just a little bit of the green paint, and just to let you know, all of the colors in the range are mixable and blendable with one another. Once my piece is complete, then I can choose to place it in an oven and bake it. First, you need to allow this to dry for 24 hours, maybe a little bit longer if you have used the outliners. Sometimes we recommend up to 12 hours more because it's a little bit thicker. Once this is completely dried, then you will place it directly on the oven rack in your kitchen oven. Place it directly on the oven rack, set your oven to 300 degrees Fahrenheit. Then you'd like to set the timer for 30 minutes. Once the piece has baked for 30 minutes and the timer goes off, you simply open the oven door, allow the piece to cool down gradually, and then remove the piece when it has cooled so as not to damage your design. Once this piece has been baked, it is in fact microwave safe, dishwasher safe, safe for the use of cleaning with solvents. Porcelain 150 paints allow us the flexibility to paint on many utilitarian surfaces in your home, including flatware or silverware, dishes that you in fact will be using, here is a tea set, decorative plates, and other items. Here are many examples of pieces that may be painted with Porcelain 150 paints. It's very fun, it's simple to do, and very enjoyable. We hope that you enjoy Porcelain 150 paints by Pebeo. Thank you.